speed.
Okay, it took a bit there. I clicked it and nothing happened. Speed.
Speed.
Speed. It is happening.
All right. Wonderful.
Um, you know what I actually realized when I was editing the last episode?
Do tell.
We don't introduce ourselves anymore. We just never have
Yeah.
since the first
Yeah.
episode, which is very unviewer friendly.
Didn't we introduce ourselves in episode 2?
If we do, it was the only one. So then episode 3 we didn't, and to stop that we have to do it again. So
Okay,
sorry,
wonderful.
the way that my mic and everything is oriented, I'm gonna be like blocked.
What do you mean? Everybody already knows who we are. We're like household names at this point.
You correct, but what if someone came from another planet? What if? Oh shit!
Oh, true.
1 second.
True.
Okay, sorry, it looked a little scuffed for a second there. Okay, if we came from another planet, right?
Yeah.
Aliens, right? From our Mars
Yeah.
hypothetical, right?
All right.
Future
So-
Martians have come down and watching videos from 2021. They're watching them right now in the year 2050. We need to introduce ourselves to these aliens.
All right. Yeah. So to all the aliens watching, I am, His Grace King Adrian of Mars.
Yes, of Mars, future
yeah.
Mars leader.
Yeah, future Mars leader, future. You probably recognize me from the flag and all the statues of me.
Of course. I mean,
But just so you're
yeah.
fully aware, yeah, that's who I am.
I'm Drew. I'm the one in the history books that says, was advised by a close friend not to do it. Did it anyways. I was the close friend that said not to do it. So
Yeah.
There's my introduction. And thanks for hopping on, watching this episode. So
Yeah.
you want to talk about something that happened? Presumably what just happened? I know you were watching it. I wasn't. Want to talk about it?
Yeah. So the
Alright.
well, I was running through a couple different things that I was thinking about talking about, but what literally just happened just prior to recording.
Hey,
Holding up the finger.
stop it right there.
Okay.
My alarm just went off. You know what that
Wonderful.
means?
Banana bread.
Chat room. Not chat room. Viewers.
Chat room.
I say chat room because I'm in streamer mindset for some reason.
All right.
I have a banana bread. I have banana bread breaking. I'm gonna go get that.
All right. You go get that. I'll entertain them.
You can talk about what you were talking about because I actually know what the champs is. Don't talk about like who won and stuff until I get back though, because I don't know.
Okay. Wonderful. So while it's just us and Drew's gone, we can get a little saucy because Drew won't be around to censor me. So let's talk about our feelings, right? The world's a crazy place, and I'm ready for Mars. Who wants to come to Mars with me? Who's ready to go to Mars with me? That'd be pretty cool. So, actually, what we're going to talk about is COD champs. So I'm a big fan of Call of Duty, like competitively, and Drew and I actually tried to form a team and compete a little bit this past season, and it didn't really work out that well for us. For a lot of different reasons, but yeah, so we're both relatively interested in it. Me a little more than Drew, who has returned.
Oh.
With some banana bread, maybe.
What?
What?
Oh, I couldn't hear you. I didn't have headphones on. What did you say?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Me and the friends, the viewers, were just talking about our feelings.
I feel left out now. But do you want to see the banana bread?
I do want to see the banana bread.
I burnt it a little bit because my oven is like super shitty. It doesn't regulate its own heat well, but it smells really good. First time I've ever made my own bread, ever. Like any bread is banana bread. And I just had these 3 like decrepit bananas.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, I have no way to mash these or mash the stick of butter I had to use. So I just put it in my blender and pureed it into this fine brown sludge that I then mixed with flour and baking soda. And, oh, dude, this smells so fucking good.
Hey, when we get the Drew cooking show?
Well, if there's any loyal fans in the chat room, they will know that I have did a cooking stream before where I made chicken,
Oh yeah.
and I haven't eaten most of it. It's in the freezer because I'm
Mm.
fairly certain I undercooked it because I did it on a George Foreman, and I wasn't paying attention because I was on a call with Zach during it, and me and Zach were just talking, and it's not archived anymore because it was long ago. But if any loyal fan, it's happened already actually.
Well, we gotta get the sequel on that then.
We do. I don't know if you can hear me.
Show all the fans how to make the optimal banana bread.
Have the banana bread in the back corner there.
Oh yeah.
There you
I
go.
can't see it because my Discord box is over it, but they can.
It's all that matters.
So anyway,
Continue.
so I was actually talking about the CDL a little bit, the Call of Duty League, of which we are both fans of. I'd say I'm a bit more of a fan of than you.
If my team's winning, that's great. If they've lost and are out of the bracket, I no longer care.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched just about the whole thing because even though my team got eliminated one round after yours did.
Mm.
So anyway, a surprise to no one, Atlanta FaZe are the 2021 Call of Duty champions. Which is, like I said, not a surprise at all. They had won 3 of the majors that happened earlier on in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Got second at another. Had a pretty disappointing placement at this past one. Got first here today, which is kind of cool to watch. I was a big fan of E United. Back when the CDL was the CWL and before franchising happened. And while I kind of followed Clay to Empire and then to New York, Simp, Abizi, RCDs were all on that United roster that ended up winning Black Ops 4 champs. So it was cool. It's cool to see them get some more rings. That's kind of interesting.
Do they get is it a trophy? What is it?
There's a trophy and they also get rings.
They get rings, like it's like football. Okay.
Yeah.
Or I guess most sports, but
yeah, I think the organization will get the trophy, but the players get rings.
Yeah, because you can't give each player a trophy. That'd be
yeah. And Abizi won the finals MVP, which is kind of cool because Simp won the league MVP. A lot of people were like, Abizi might have should have won that. So it was cool that Abizi got his finals MVP. That was pretty cool.
I don't know who any of these people are.
Yeah. It's probably neither do most of the viewers, but
the occasional viewer will know.
Yeah.
Can we talk about FaZe for a second? Have they always been like really fucking good? Because I know the meme is like FaZe Clan meme, right? Because they've been around since fucking forever. And I know Optic has also been around for quite a long time. I don't know about as long as FaZe or not. I did not follow the lore. Longer. Even longer? Okay.
Yeah.
So like I just know like the classic like you're playing fucking MW2, MW3, people with FaZe in their clan tag, and you're like, what the fuck? Sure, bud.
So actually, in competitive, the 2 like oldest teams that are still active are like Optic and Envy. And then FaZe came to be, I think, a couple years later in terms of like competitive and just how, I guess, popular they became. Because of course the whole like FaZe started out as like a sniping thing.
Yeah, that was the original FaZe kind. They were doing montages. Yeah,
while Optic and Envy were more like competitive. And I don't think, or like, because back in Black Ops 2, the first champs, FaZe existed, but they weren't like a top team. And then I don't think FaZe really became a super big top team until like Advanced Warfare, maybe. Because I don't think they were a top team during Ghosts either. And then AW, they became really big then. They had a couple really good players, but didn't really settle on a roster until Clayster and Attach, who were on Denial when they won the World Championship in AW. They got traded over to FaZe and joined Zuma and Enable, and that team of four that team of four made FaZe what it is today, I think, because they were like, for a while, that was like the height of Optic's dynasty, and like Optic becoming massive, and FaZe were like the only team at the time who could ever challenge Optic, and I think that's what made FaZe popular. And ever since then, they've always been a really good team and a mainstay at the top of competitive Call of Duty.
So prior to Cold War, I probably literally did not follow any COD. Because when I was when I was like initially into Call of Duty, it was like I was into the game itself, and then the content like creators, so like whoever was big, like in like I'm talking like Black Ops era, like whatever they were doing then, like it was very like new at that time. So like all these competitive things, I didn't even know COD had competitive until like Modern Warfare 3, and I was like, wait, it exists? I didn't know competitive gaming existed, because I was not on that, like that I wasn't getting that information because I didn't know about these. I was shaking everything.
Sure.
But all of a sudden I got like, that's when I started hearing like people go like, I'm trying to join a team. It's like, you're what? What do you mean a team? Yeah, competitive Call of Duty. I'm like, is that a thing? And then I remember seeing like recommended on YouTube, because Google knows whatever you're doing, going like,
of course.
Oh, by the way, I don't know, probably like at that time it was probably like BO2, like competitive game, this team versus that team, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm just watching it, I'm like, I thought it was cringe, because I was like, it's video games and they're taking it like serious, like sports, because this was like my first ever introduction to it. And then I fell off of COD around BO3 because I just didn't like movement in it, and since then I kind of, and I guess Ghosts, but and since then I was off the radar, like I wasn't messing with it. And then it came back to Cold War, and then you're like, hey, want to try to play like League and stuff. We were doing that, and I started following it, and all of a sudden these teams are like aligned to a city, and I'm like, oh shit, it's like big now.
Yeah.
But I remember watching a couple like esports videos, and they were like talking about the teams and how it's so volatile, the team ecosystem, and how like, since it's so new of a concept of like having like city-based teams, they die like every 2 years. It's like they just erode away. So it's like, well, I was like, first of all, there isn't one for my city. And I didn't know about any of them, so I literally just had to pick one. And you're like, hey, pick a team to root for, and I'm like, that one is a cool logo. And that was it. I'm literally like, I'm not gonna buy any merch. I'm not gonna get too invested, because I genuinely think, give it like 2-3 years, they're gonna disperse into a different thing. So it's like, I'm not gonna. It's still in that volatile state because it's new.
Yeah.
But I just found that very interesting.
Yeah. So your team is the Florida Mutineers.
Yes.
Who you did like choose. It's kind of interesting because me, you, and Sil, our friend, we have teams, but like I like the team that I like. I'm a Subliners fan because Clayster was the first one that got me into competitive Call of Duty back in Black Ops 2, and I've been following basically him to every team he's been on since Black Ops 2. So I've been watching forever. Sil is a fan of the Gorillas, the Los Angeles Gorillas, because last season I did fantasy Call of Duty, and I gave her a list of names, and I was one of these players for me to draft to my fantasy team. And she was just like, Apathy. And so that's why she's a Gorillas fan. It's just because Apathy is on Gorillas. And like you said, you chose Mutineers because they had a cool logo.
Well, yeah, I was like, They have a cool logo. Are they decent? Yeah, they're decent. Okay, that's my team.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was it. Their
It,
logo is cool, and watching their games, they have a few players that are like bussing. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
big
I mean,
wake,
Big
big
Wake,
wake.
Skies is real good.
Hmm.
Neptune looked decent this year. Um, but yeah, like it is a very volatile sort of setup with Call of Duty, and I think especially with like rosters and stuff, which is why like, uh, I mean, unlike sports where you have like, Giannis got a 7-year contract with the Bucks, and LeBron has been on the Lakers forever, and uh, like Aaron Rodgers has been with the Packers since 2005. Like you have players who stick with the franchise for so long, and with Call of Duty, that just
It's like
doesn't happen
two
because
years, three, maybe a
yeah,
half a year.
yeah, some players, even like really good ones, will end up on teams for like maybe 2 events, and then they'll
Jesus,
be they'll be traded or dropped or leave,
I
and it's like
honest continue. Sorry.
that's why like dynasties have become such a weird thing in Call of Duty because there's been like Call of Duty's been active as a competitive entity for like 11, 12 years now, but there have been 2 dynasties, and even in that regard, the original dynasty was Complexity and Evil Geniuses,
I remember
uh,
those
which is
those
one
names floating
dynasty
around.
because the Complexity roster rose in Black Ops 2, dominated Black Ops 2, went into Ghosts and sort of dominated Ghosts, but they ended up Complexity I think sold the roster to Evil Geniuses. So that's why it's kind of like it's a dynasty, but it was 2 different teams or 2 different organizations that they played under. But even them, like that was 2 years. That's the idea of a Call of Duty dynasty was 2 years.
It's it comes from the life cycle of the game itself,
Hmm.
and the way and the team size is extremely small,
Hmm.
and it's the way the games work. Like this guy could be a god on Ghosts, right? But the
Hmm.
next game, I don't know what came after Ghosts, but the next
Advanced
game,
Warfare.
Advanced Warfare, they could just be Garbo because they're not used to that new movement. So like that's you can't have this like 3 4 year like just god team because
Hmm.
not everyone, it's impossible for everyone to completely perfectly transition to the next engine and the next game. And I think
Yeah.
that probably contributes to like CDL as a concept seems to be trying to grow and get big, like
Hmm.
to become like this massive like industry, kind of like NFL or whatever. Which that's if it ever reaches that point, it'll be years from now. But because it's just you know
Hmm.
it's still seen as like video games are not a competitive thing, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But that's clearly their goal, or to be some like structured similarly. And I think they're limited by the game that they're competitively based around.
Hmm.
COD
Absolutely.
is very short-sighted in the games. They are designed to last a year and to be left in the dust, and you go to a new one. And the combination of that, different engines between each game, or like different mechanics, like no similarity,
Hmm.
uh, the way the game itself functions, and the idea like video game players can't play for 20 years because it's like a brain thing more than a physical thing. And like you hit 30 and you're like already declining in that aspect. Like people are like,
Yeah.
oh, he's retiring. What, how old is he? 29. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Sure, bud. Yeah. But it's they need to I think two things need to happen. If they want it to grow, you need a group of people to grasp onto a team, because
Hmm.
you need loyalty. Loyalty creates people buying shit, and buying shit grows the corporation. If
Hmm.
no one's buying anything, no one is going to like, they're not going to get more money, and they're not going to use that money to expand.
Hmm.
So they need the teams, which this is like a thing that you cannot control. This can't be like, this has to be like a, everyone just kind of agrees on it.
Hmm.
But they just need to stick with a team of like 10 people that they switch out, like because it's like 4 players, I think, per like
Hmm.
actual game on their
Yeah.
team. Switch them out depending on the new games. Stick with them. Like do like contracts like 2 years, 3 years, and then build a loyal base off of those people, because you need them to become personalities. You need them to become something people care about other than just the team name, because you need people to latch onto those, like people latch on to the Chiefs, the Packers, the Bears. You need those, that like identity. And another thing, when you do that, you need to make sure that team is going to stick around.
Yeah.
Like, what was it, Huntsman, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, their branding was great, and as far as I could tell, it had a cool logo with the axes and stuff. Gone in like, I don't know how long it lasted, but
1 year.
1 year. Like,
1 season.
it's just like, that's it. Like, they're never gonna grow if they just freaking melt away like that. But because of the game and the way its life cycle works, it's just impossibly hard. It's so difficult to do that, because if you want to do good, you need new players, because each game's different. So that's
Yeah,
how it
and
is.
I think that's like they're really trying to copy the CDL, the Call of Duty League, tried very hard to kind of copy and piggyback off the success of the Overwatch League. But that issue is what you've just brought up with the fact that with Call of Duty, it's a new game every year, and Overwatch has been the same game for what, it came out in like 2015, 2016, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It's been the same game for like 5 to 6 years. So franchising kind of works a little bit better with that. Whereas Call of Duty, yeah, it's a new game every year. It's a whole new engine. So there's so much, just shit just happens, and when so much is going on with roster mania and new players coming in, old players retiring at such a young age, um, it's not conducive to like you were talking about long-term fan engagement.
Yeah. Which is where the money comes from.
Yeah, and it's just I really want it to be successful. I'm really worried that it's just gonna fizzle out and die.
The path they're going, it will, because they're promoting, they're starting. You can tell the game's design itself is catering less towards the competitive idea, and more of the people who play it casually and spend a lot of money on it. Because at the end of the day, CDL is a loss, because they did cash prizes and whatever the fuck, and especially with like COVID and shit, like ticket prices non-existent. Right, they're probably getting like 100 people in there, so it's like, it's just a loss now. And the only reason they're doing it is because it probably is like essentially a more advanced form of advertisement. So it's probably like pulling in some number. Then they sell those bundles with the character skins and the thing. It's like, oh, play as the phase character. Yeah, the phase character. And I
also,
think, yeah.
Yeah, and sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No problem.
But like another thing so Activision Blizzard is in the midst of a lot of allegations against them.
Oh yeah.
And they've lost
mainly
like,
Blizzard, but yeah.
Well, yeah. But they've lost like so many of their big sponsors because of it, and like rightfully so. Blizzard absolutely needs to deal with that, and there needs to be some punishment that goes around.
I think they've started purging employees, if I'm not mistaken, and I think the head stepped down recently. The head honcho of Blizzard.
That's something at least, but yeah, it's just
their reputation's permanently ruined, especially since they were fucking shitting the bed in WoW. So like, it's just
it's just a bad state of things
for sure.
There's a lot of people calling for the CWL, the Call of Duty World League, to come back.
Is CDL independent of the Call of Duty company itself?
No. CDL is an Activision associated company. The CWL was an independent thing, and a lot of people are calling for the CWL to come back. And they kind of have been since franchising started, because I don't think there's not many people that actually wanted this outside of the people who up at Activision who wanted to make money off of it. Which I support. I support a move back to the CWL. That'd be nice.
I think, because if it's an independent thing, I think they need to, Call of Duty, if Call of Duty wants to survive in a competitive sphere, I think they need to make a game that is mechanically tight as shit. Really mechanically snug, that is not adhering to a setting, location, time period, anything. Just a Call of Duty game that they support like fucking CSGO does, right? Where it just exists. And it needs to exist independently of the mainline COD games and the competitive focus. It needs to be a good enough game mechanically. It needs to be fucking perfect. And then they need to just put the CDL there or whatever. And that's the only way to create a competitive environment that doesn't fizzle out in 7 years. Because then there's something to latch onto. Make it free to play. Make it whatever. Fucking do it like League where you have to buy skins and shit. It's the only monetization. Boom. Then you just have this infinite game that people can grind and get good at. You can create dynasties, as previously stated. You can build this fan base. You'll get money. People will buy jerseys. People will buy fucking merch. It won't be more, because right now it's player loyalty. I'm a big fan of Scump, right? I'm a big Scump fan. Wherever he goes, I go. They need to switch it to team loyalty, and that will extend the life of the competitive scene.
Yes, absolutely.
So they just need to either make a new game that lasts fucking like 10 years, or increase the life cycle of each game to like 2-3 years between new releases. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, I agree with you wholeheartedly. So, now that we've ranted about that for 30 minutes almost. Something I wanted to bring up before we started talking about Call of Duty is we may or may not have made a little bit of content for the fans outside of the podcast.
Yes, I need to work on that still, though. I may or may not have been a tad bit hungover yesterday.
Understandable. Happens to the best of us.
I may or may not have slept a total of 14 hours. So
yeah. The viewers are going to be getting this a day past schedule.
Yes, that's not the norm.
One of us was getting a little.
I was having a little bit of fun with friends. Hey, I was with
that's
the bros.
Fine. That's fine. We get it. All good.
But yeah, new content outside of the podcast. Do you want to? How much do you want to talk about it, or do you want to leave a little secret?
Well, we'll just it's going to be some gaming content.
Yeah.
Which it's obviously we talk a lot about video games on here. We just talked about Call of Duty for half an hour. We're obviously big fans of gaming in general, and that's always something we talked about making content for. So we got some gaming content coming up. We hope the fans are going to enjoy it. I might not talk too much more about it other than that, just to kind of keep it
a little fret, keep it like
kind
of like when it just drops. And it's probably not going to be regular, because it's hard to, especially it's way more editing complex. So especially since I'm in a major in college that literally is editing and filming, so I have to do a lot of that on my own for school, which I would argue, I'm sorry guys, but I think education's a little more important, so I'm gonna have to focus on that.
At least now, until we get millions of subs and this becomes our full-time job.
Of course. I mean, inevitably, right? Because we know you're eventually going to become, King of Mars. So
yeah.
But yeah, expect that. Probably not regular. Can I tease the other idea that you came up with, or do you want to?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know if we're going to have a name for it, if it's just going to be like a random like genre we kind of put out with no like series name, or if it's going to be like a determined series where we could like keep score and shit. But the whole like me versus you in random games, it would start with like I'm assuming it would be like games where you can verse each other. But like I could see it going in very funny ways, like doing games that aren't necessarily verses and finding weird arbitrary ways to score it.
Yeah.
Like it could be really fun. So expect that too. Probably not soon, but inevitably.
Oh no, it's gonna be a whole thing. We're gonna have a series. We're gonna keep records. We're gonna have a fucking
I want to.
championship belt.
I'm gonna try to get graphics for it.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna
Oh
try to
yeah.
like make some graphics, title screen. It's gonna once we get a name down for it, it'll be sick.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be dope. I'm
Yeah.
excited for that.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna start with. I don't know if we even talked about it last episode. We might have very briefly, but we have not done basically any Guilty Gear.
I told you it was gonna die in like 3 weeks, and look at it. I actually played some Guilty Gear. I played. You
You're
haven't.
you're you're gonna be so far ahead of me. You're gonna win episode 1, but we're gonna probably go with Guilty Gear for episode 1 just to continue the bit.
Yeah, probably.
So that'll be fun.
I actually when I was playing, I wasn't using my controller. I was trying out my fight stick.
Mm-hmm.
It's right above the banana bread.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't do too hot, so I'm going right back to controller.
Yep.
So I just wanted to see how it felt. Some games, that's the thing though, way
Mhm.
better. It's just how it is. But yeah, expect that. I'm excited for it.
That'll be fun. So
Yeah.
you mentioned you're in your final year of college.
Yes. If everything goes well, yes.
Yes. So I recently just finished my application process for the following semester because I've kind of been going semester by semester.
Yeah.
Because I fucked off my first year and failed everything. But you got things. I mean, you're on the home stretch. What are you planning on doing?
Anything. You saying
So-
what am I planning on doing, like major wise? Like if I get a job in my major?
Yeah, like what's your plan for this final year and after?
My plan is to find a job entry level, either in my major or not. Just a job that pays enough to live.
And your major is?
Broadcasting. Well, it's mass media broadcast production with an emphasis on video. Is the actual like big thing. Didn't minor in anything because I didn't want to take a million classes. And I just shoot video. I record. I edit. I'm not very well. I can edit basic stuff, but I'm not really an editor. I want to do more camera work. But I can if I need to throw something together. As you know, the episodes are edited somewhat. But that's what I'm going for. And my plan is just to take anything I can get, really. I just want to do a job that isn't in my brain like a slog. Something that's like at least somewhat interesting. I don't have to enjoy every moment of it, nor do I have to be grinning ear to ear just because I'm there. But just enjoying the grind at least more than working at wherever the hell I would be working otherwise.
Sure.
That's the dream. But it's hard to get. I haven't interned anywhere or anything because of global event. You know, that thing that you know that small little thing that happened.
Yeah, that tiny little thing that killed millions of people.
Yeah, that wee little thing. So, you know, it's just what it is. But yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
That blends into kind of this, because of course you're big into the production and all that, and that's kind of led you to want to do this. For me, I'm currently majoring in what's called English for New Media. But in a similar vein to you, my actual main interest is like filmmaking.
Yeah.
Your side is the more like I guess practical, grounded side.
TV
like recording
thing. It's not like movies.
No,
it's more like commercial. I mean, anything that's not movies. Pretty much like TV itself. Mainly commercials and like wedding videography or housing videography for like retail or was it realtors?
But you
stuff
just
like that.
Like camera work, editing, production, like stuff like that. And my side of it is more like the creative side of it.
Yeah.
Writing and directing and stuff like that. And fortunately, the college I'm at right now does not have a fully fledged film program. Um, but I did see that they have a theater-based like introduction to acting class. So I actually registered for that for this coming
That
semester.
could be
So
fun.
that might be fun. That'd be cool. Might get me a bit more comfortable like talking and emoting to an audience.
Hmm.
So that might help with the podcast even a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's sort of my main focus. And like I said, no actual film program here, so I might end up transferring to like a film school sometime down the line. But I don't know. Well, that's I'm not usually the type of person that thinks that far in advance, so we'll see how things go.
Hmm. I've heard a good way to like, so in the film world, in the world that I'm going towards and you would desire to be in,
Hmm.
degrees and education, they are to get you the skills, not to
Hmm.
get you the big shiny piece of paper, because they couldn't give two fucks if you have best grades or a big shiny diploma, right? They
Hmm.
want your demo reel. They want to see what you can do.
Hmm.
So a cool thing, if like you genuinely want to say you stick to whatever you're majoring in now, it was the writing thing,
Hmm.
and find a job in that for your primary work, and you're doing whatever you're doing. I don't know what jobs that would be in, but maybe like some like journalism. I don't know. Just writing.
Hmm.
And on your own time, like say you purchase a camera, a tripod, a fucking shotgun. That's all you need. Not a literal shotgun, a shotgun mic.
Yes.
All you need. You plop it on the top, put it there like a fucking $600, $700 camera. Don't even need some crazy, like a 50 millimeter lens. You don't even need anything crazy. Just a 50 millimeter, like what the documentaries use.
Hmm.
And just film shit, throw it in an editor, color correct it to make it look pretty, put it to music, make it like 3 minutes long, demo reel. Then you can
Yeah.
start applying to like news stations. You can jump into that world without having a degree in it, which I think is
Yeah.
really cool. And I'm not pulling the shit on my ass from like, that's what I heard. My professors I'm paying money for them to teach me so I get a big shiny piece of paper say, you don't even need the big shiny piece of paper. Just make good shit, throw together a demo reel, start applying to a news station, and 5, 6 years later, if you stick there long enough, you'll move up and you'll be producing shit. You'll be making packs for these news places. You'll get your name out there. You'll get your word out there. You move up the film world because it's all fucking networking. Like
Yeah.
especially this, like they tell me over and over, the only things that matter are demo reels and networking. Know people and make good shit, and you'll
Hmm.
get far. And at
Absolutely.
least know how to talk to people. So you don't
That's
need to have a shiny piece of paper. Like it
it's like
helps you learn like
mm,
how to use the cameras and shit, but you can teach yourself. It's up to you.
yeah, my so I was in a film program back in college when I tried it out the first year, different school that I'm at now, and my film like professor was like, it's really just about having like stuff prepared and knowing what you're doing, so that when you end up running it like through networking, meeting like producers and stuff, just having stuff that you can be like, well, here's this, like here's my elevator pitch for this film I want to make, this show I want to make.
Yeah.
And yeah, it like you said, you don't need a degree to get into the film industry.
No.
If anything, like I, far more people who are in the film industry who are making movies don't have a degree,
It's
because
yeah.
like you said, it's all about learning what you're doing and nothing to do with actually like checking off like, oh yeah, I have a degree in filmmaking from so and so school, and they're like, oh, okay, so you're qualified. Let's yeah, it's
But
not yeah,
yeah.
it's not about that. It's about being like, okay, here's this script, here's my elevator pitch, here's work I've done on little like little student films and stuff,
Yeah, or
and then
just
being like,
it
okay,
it
you
it
know
can,
what you're
yeah.
doing.
It can literally be like there was a parade in my town and I took a couple cool shots and threw them together. Like it can be as long as they can see like I'm applying for a job in cinematography. I'm applying for a job in audio, whatever the fuck you're trying to apply for.
Hmm.
The demo reel, make sure it has that in it and pick some best work, throw it together, send it to them. it's simple, and it's because the reason so many people don't have degrees in that world or degrees in that genre is because that's a new concept. There
Yeah.
wasn't a film school. There wasn't a film degree or a cinematography degree or like a broadcasting. It was just you knew a guy. Like originally it was you had a family member or a friend in it, and they were like, "Hey, want to run utility on this shoot? You just have to run
Hmm.
cables." And you start to pick up knowledge from this and that. You hear him talk about it. Someone goes, "Hey, want to see how this works?" You learn a little bit, and then all of a sudden, "Hey, we don't have a cameraman here. Can you run this camera? I know he was talking to you about it. You run that camera. Hey, you're pretty good at that. Want to do it more?" And it
Yeah.
builds. And
Yeah.
that's how it was forever. And then now they're like, okay, let's make it so people aren't starting at the fucking rock bottom and can kind of start from a little bit above and make it a little easier. Because at the
Hmm.
end of the day, entertainment doesn't care what paper you have. They want you to make the money and be entertaining and make good
Yeah.
shit. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's like another cool little side effect if it ends up happening with like the introduction to acting class that I'm about to take is like I would love to just make like short horror films because that's kind of my main focus is horror. That's my genre of choice, I guess.
mm-hmm.
And the beautiful thing about horror as a genre is so much of it is just like super low budget, just like thrown
Yeah.
together by people who
Bargain
just
bin.
love it.
Yeah.
And like you can make fantastic fucking films
On like
with
$500.
nothing. Yeah. And that would be dope to be like if I go into the acting class and I meet a couple people who are interested in filmmaking and just be like, "Hey, do you guys want to get together and make a short film?" And then make a couple of those. Now I have a resume, a portfolio, you know, something that I can show people to prove, "Hey, I at least know what I'm doing. I might not be the best yet, but I have a
Mm-hmm.
good base." And then that would help me get like maybe I can get onto a set at some bigger thing. And
Yeah.
then, as you said, once you get onto that set, you start meeting people, you start showing off what you can do. That's how you kind of snowball that into okay, well now I know these people. I'm going to start my own thing. You know, producer might throw me however much money I need for this project, get the project
Yeah.
done, and as I gain in reputation, I can go to film festivals and then do mass releases and shit like that. And that's how you get where you're going.
Yeah, like if you look at the early stuff of all the famous dudes, like famous directors, producers, etc., it's like it's like that's him. He made that, and it's like
Yeah.
compared to like their $1 billion budget shit they're making now, right? It's like you can see that progression. And I have made a horror short film for class. I didn't do it on my own. It was just for class.
Mm.
I can say the best and the easiest part of making a horror short film is planning the horror short film. And then you have to get your hands on the shit that you need it to make it look good. Because,
Hmm.
see, the first roadblock is okay, I want my camera here. Why does it look like shit? I
Yeah.
didn't think it would, and it shouldn't, but why? And
Yeah.
there's like, oh, my lighting, oh, the ISO, oh, the f stop, all this shit. And that's, as I said, like you learn that from experience. Like you can get taught that, but until you get hands on, until you start making shit, you just don't know about it. You don't understand. Like sometimes you look at something and it's just off, and you don't know why it's off. It's just it looks funky, it looks weird, and no one can really tell you why. It turns out it's the frame rate, or turns out you were using white light instead of like a soft yellow light for like an outdoor scene or like a
Hmm.
nighttime scene, and so it looks kind of weird. Like it looks weirdly bright. It's there's just so many things that you don't realize, and you learn that as you develop as a producer or a filmmaker or a cinematographer. That no matter how many pieces of paper with your name on them are, you only get that from doing it.
Hmm.
You have to be in the field doing that shit. And the only way to start is to do what you want to do. Make short films. Make shit for no reason other than for fun. Like,
Hmm.
you're not going to get money from these. You're not going to get anything. You're going to get, it'll feel like you're getting butt fuck all. But you're actually developing skill that you can use later. So
Yeah.
next time you do a nighttime shot, you know how to make it look good off the rip. Instead of spending 30 minutes trying to figure it out, you can get that shoot done quicker. Maybe add another scene in there. It all piles on. It's a very like organic growth, I feel, from like
Hmm.
talking about it with people. Everything kind of builds on it. It's a mountain. Nothing that you learn is irrelevant. It all builds on each other. And you
Yeah.
don't need, I keep bringing up the shiny piece of paper. You don't need it.
Yeah.
So it's like if you don't have the money to go to college and do this shit, if you don't have the colleges around you to do that stuff, just do it anyways. Upload it on YouTube. YouTube's one of the best things that's ever happened to people because you can get your shit out there.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Yeah.
If you want to make a short film and you're nearby, hit me up. I'll help you out.
Absolutely.
I can help you with like lighting and shit.
I'll fly you out to some up here in South Dakota.
Yeah.
Just so you can come and run a camera for me, since I have no fucking clue what I'm doing in that regard.
Shit. We'd have to. Hurdle 1, get the shit you need.
Yeah, yeah.
XLR, mic, boom, camera, tripod, probably a gimbal, maybe a Scorpion. Oh wait, I need a bounce because I only have one light. Oh shit, we're outside for this. I need a certain lens cover to filter out reflection. It's like,
Yeah, you're saying a bunch of shit that I have no clue what you're talking about,
yeah,
and that's why I need the classes.
that's
So
what
I
the classes.
understand.
That's all the classes do, though. That's the importance of them. I didn't
Yeah,
know about that shit 2 years ago. Now I do.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that would be nice.
I don't know what spurred on this conversation, by the way.
College.
College. What a inconspicuous topic that just blossomed into our philosophical views on filmmaking.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how this goes.
Speaking of just following that line of thought, you brought up how you like really are into like horror flicks.
Hmm.
Um, have you got like ideas like because I know you like to, you think a lot, so
Yeah.
I know you probably have brewed some up. Is there any that you know that you might not ever do that you want to share with us now, like base ideas that you don't want to spoil or you don't care if you spoil it to the world before you make it in 10 years?
That's interesting because I think I mean I have a lot of ideas, but I kind of am keeping a lot of them as like I might actually do this, so I don't know what I want to talk about or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I am very I like starting with like I like creature pieces. I like a lot of like body horror. Um, I think a horror film can really be made or broke off of the effects and what the producers and the creators do to kind of sell that something could be like real, I guess. I hate CGI. I love
Same.
practical effects.
Practical always is
And
better.
oh, absolutely. So I think uh a lot of my early like formation of my ideas starts with like that would be a really cool looking death. Okay, how do I facilitate that death happening
Mm-hmm.
in context? Okay, now let's create something that would cause that death, whether that be a slasher movie villain or a monster or whatever. Okay, now why should the audience care about this character? And then I create the backstory of this character. Why are they in the situation? And that's how the story sort of develops for me. Um, yeah, I'm very much the type of like horror creator that wants to just unnerve people, make them uncomfortable. I that's the basis of it all for me. It's
Are
just
you like a
elicit a reaction.
are you like a like Rob Zombie stuff kind of person?
No.
I feel like you would have
Um,
been because he was like the sequels to Halloween and shit, right?
yeah, he was sequels to Halloween. He was
Which are not very good.
No, they're not. He's the House of a Thousand Corpses and the Devil's Rejects like trilogy, and I see the value in a lot of that, but
It
it's
has its
also
fans.
it's very much just like, let's compile the most hedonistic, like dark and twisted bullshit possible into one film and like just have it be like a celebration of depravity.
That's pretty
And
much it.
yeah, yeah. And I kind of like I understand the purpose of that and I understand the value in that, but it's not exactly for me. I'm very there's some things that go on in a lot of Rob Zombie films that I'm not at all okay with.
Yeah, he's got like fucked up shit that's like,
He has a lot of really fucked up
yeah,
shit. And like I once again, I get why that stuff is sometimes important and can sometimes be valuable, but mm,
not for you.
not for me.
So you more lean to like, because I know you're is it, I don't know if it's your favorite movie, but one of your favorites is The Thing, right?
I love the thing.
So
Yeah.
like that whole concept of like the horror of that movie, while it also is like who's the monster, you know?
Mhm.
Among Us. Well, it's also Among Us. It's also it's fucking gross.
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
head spider and the body that opens up like a
Oh my
fly
God,
trap.
yes.
Like all that cool shit and it's like that is that like a good like example for the people to look at for like your tastes?
Absolutely. I think I love that film in particular because it's so like it has very, very easy to identify like things that cause that suspense, that uncomfortableness, the idea that like the isolation of them being in Antarctica and being so far removed from the rest of society, the like the force that it's like you can't really you it's so hard to fight an alien creature that you don't fully understand, and the all the body horror and like the elements that create that disgusting guttural reaction,
Yeah.
and the like you said, the body, the chest opening up and the spider head, and like the scene where the the dog that's the actual thing
Yeah, the mouth
starts
like
like,
fucking
yeah,
fucks up
the
this
mouth, the face
the
splits
strings
open,
come
yeah, the
out.
strings start
Yeah.
coming out.
I love that.
That's
I love
oh
that.
my God, that is exactly my type of shit.
I love that type. It seems like nothing has done it as good as The Thing. I think it's just
Absolutely not.
it's kind of like its own. It found its perfectness. Like it did it so good, and it kind of pioneered that idea of like that type of horror.
Hmm.
While I enjoy that greatly, I do love me some fucked shit.
Yeah.
Uh, what I find very interesting is the horror that's like you don't see what's so scary. You don't
Hmm.
see the monster, you don't see the ghost, you don't see whatever. There's just like you know there's a threat. It's kind of like Blair Witch.
I was thinking about Blair Witch as you were talking,
It's
as you were
I
starting to
feel
talk.
gross saying Blair Witch because it pioneered the fucking shitty found footage bullshit, but it does that so well where it's like you don't know what the
Yeah.
fuck's going on, but it's
Yeah.
still scary, right? And I find that as like my personal favorite horror. I don't watch a lot of horror movies just because they don't interest me too much. Some of them I'm like, ooh, that looks really good, and I'll go watch it, or I'll pick it up, or rent it, or
Hmm.
Netflix, or something. But like the unknown horror, or the almost cosmic level horror, or
Yeah.
the psychological, like there's no actual monster. It's just they're fighting a horror that is their mind.
Hmm.
Stuff like that is like I find that so cool, and that's why I like I don't. It's not a movie, but it's a manga. It's Uzumaki. It's getting an adaptation, and it's a literally a cosmic horror force that no one knows. It's just this evil thing that
Yeah.
exists, and it's like it's a perfect example of that in like Blair Witch. maybe the first Paranormal Activity.
Sure,
Maybe
yeah.
because I know the first one wasn't as bad as the rest of them.
Mm,
Um,
yeah. I think
yeah.
so. I like so another couple names I'll throw out there for anybody who wants to kind of watch a couple really good horror films and maybe get a little bit closer to my type of horror. So Sinister, I think, is one of the best horror films that have been released like recently, I guess. It's not super recent. I think it was like early 2010s, but that is absolutely up my alley with like there's an unknown element to why things are going on and this just sort of abstract horror associated with it because I don't want to spoil much about Sinister in case you haven't watched it or in case people
I've not.
you really should. It's really great. It's
I'll
also
check
on
it out.
Netflix.
Ooh, I'll check it out then.
Don't watch the second one. It's dog shit and it kind of starts ruining the first one a little bit.
Yeah,
um it's one of those things where like I love the horror that doesn't need explanation.
that's the best
It's
one.
just it is what it is, and it's so unnerving. Sinister 2 ruins a lot of that because it over explains everything.
Yeah,
So don't watch the second one. Just watch the first one. It's amazing. Another one is Creep. Have you heard of Creep?
I've heard the name.
It's also on Netflix. It only features two characters, so it's a very very dialogue and character interaction driven piece.
Is it like small
Uh,
scale on
yes,
the terms of like location and
absolutely.
themes and stuff?
It takes place in one location throughout the entire film, basically. Uh, the the people who wrote it and directed it also acted in it. It is a
Mm,
completely like it is basically a two-person job, and the whole premise of it is that a guy has he this guy who lives out in the middle of nowhere basically uh puts up like a Craigslist ad where he's wants a
everyone's here.
videographer to come and shoot some stuff about his life because he has cancer and he's about to die and he wants to leave something for his son.
I've heard about this.
Yeah, I won't once again I won't spoil anything that happens beyond that, but it's very much a character driven, uh dialogue heavy, like just shit gets progressively more weird and chaotic and sort of
Yeah.
just like the point where in it you're like, what the fuck's even going on? Like
Hmm.
that's the type of reaction I love in my horror movies and would love to emulate in the films I make in the future.
I have I don't know if you'll I'm that reminds me of one. It's a small scale foreign movie. I don't remember the title because it's foreign.
Hmm.
Oh, it might be called like Mother or something. The whole premise is this woman, the mother
Hmm.
of these two kids, gets in like an accident or something. I have not seen it. I've seen clips and stuff because I don't. It's hard to find. I think
Hmm.
because it's not like streaming or anything. And she's like disfigured, so she's wearing bandages all over her face. And from the boy's perspective, there's the scary mom who's like, she's different.
Hmm.
And it's like that idea where it just progressively gets more weird and bizarre. There's twists and turns, and that seems like a very good like it seems similar to like the creep one you were talking about. Like
Hmm.
it's just like this slow progress because they don't think it leave their I don't think they leave their house like for the entire thing. So it's like this very small scale like slowly like something starts like just minor like it's off like that's weird, and then it gets progressively more fucked up, and it's
Yeah.
like ah. And so I think that'd be a cool another one. I think it's called Mother or like Mommy or something. I think it's like Norwegian. I'm not
There
sure.
is there is a horror film, I think it's horror, called Mother, but I don't think it's what you're talking about because I don't think it's foreign. Um, but yeah, uh, I'm about to lose all credibility as a
You're gonna say
as a
some fucking okay.
I haven't seen Mother, which once again I don't think is the one you're actually referring to. But there's a very popular Mother. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen Hereditary, and I haven't seen was it Midsummer?
I've not seen Midsummer. I've seen a bit of Hereditary.
I need to watch those because I've heard nothing but good things, and from the slight spoilers I have seen, I think it would be absolutely up my alley. I need to watch those.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Mother, by the way, it's not the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
The
I didn't think it was.
2017 movie with like
Does it have
the
Jennifer
chick for
Lawrence in
yeah, the
it?
Hunger Games chick.
Yeah,
But yeah, um,
I hear that's really good too.
it looks good from the reviews and stuff. But yeah, I don't know if that damn it. I don't know. Are those like iconic movies that like everyone's like you got to watch these if you're into that stuff?
In terms of modern horror, I've heard like those are massive, like very, very good, very important films for modern horror.
I didn't know Midsummer was horror.
Well, horror and horror adjacent. Like,
Thriller,
yeah, some thriller and some like,
suspenseful.
yeah, I
What
guess like just anything that creates a sense of like making the audience uncomfortable and unnerved. That's what I consider like my genre. I guess I'm not necessarily strictly
would
horror.
it be put in the same category as like Gravity? You know the movie Gravity, where she's like trying
I
to get
do.
back from
I've seen
space. It's
it.
like isolation, kind of. That
Yeah,
kind of like thriller esque, like you're on the edge of your seat the entire time.
yeah. I would say Gravity is like a thriller. I guess.
It's not horror for
Um,
sure. It's
yeah.
yeah, thriller.
I think another film that you just made me remember is have you seen Life? Ryan Reynolds, Jake Gyllenhaal. Um,
I have not.
that's oh my god, it's so fucking good. It's another space one where like
Oh, it's the little tiny thing.
yeah,
The little
little
organism
alien.
they find. Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
I know about it. I have not seen it. My parents saw it though.
and it starts out so like just run of the mill interesting sci-fi, and then it gets so fucking wild and messed up, and I love it so
Yeah.
much. Has some pretty good effects. I think that they use it is one of the times where CGI is used in a way that's okay.
hmm
'Cause they do have some really good effects in it.
I think over time it'll be more CGI is going to get better on the horror end of things because right now it's really good for like grand scale like fake environments or
Mhm.
a big monster. But when you try to do like gore and stuff, like nothing's better than some dude who makes a clay model or something. Like
Yeah, and if your blood in your horror film is digital,
it sucks.
hate it. I hate it. It's just terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah, I give me some good old fashioned like pig's blood.
like
Give me,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the first one
yeah,
where they like actually like cut people and stuff. Yeah,
give me the fucking. I want to hear the stories about Tom Savini blowing fake blood through the prosthetic in Friday the 13th.
I
Like
like the
that's the shit. Give me that shit.
I like the story in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's a scene where the lady gets her finger cut by like a rusty knife,
Mm.
and they were supposed to just rub it against it, then it pumps blood through this tube. And the guy holding the rusty knife, it was like their seventh take or something, and he was sick of it, so he just actually cut her. And the old dude who drinks it actually drinks it,
Yeah,
and it's like all real. And the scream from the lady's real because she's getting her finger cut. It's like
yeah,
that shit you hear about that. It's like that's why that movie's so fucking good. It's because
yeah,
like they put a lot of effort into it.
yeah,
But I hate to cut this combo short, but we're reaching the end time here.
yeah.
Uh,
This was we only talked about like three things this entire episode,
yeah,
but we talked about them nonstop.
that yeah, it was. I think it's because we have a lot of like connection with those topics, so it was
Yeah, yeah,
very.
for sure.
Um, it was from the soul, man. But is there is there any thing you want to talk about last minute? Bring up.
Uh,
Say any last final words?
if you made it this long, love you. You're the best.
I agree. Thanks for watching. If you feel inclined, interact with the video.
If
You
you
know,
if you made it this long into the video,
you better
drop.
like the video.
dr- I mean, you drop a like, drop a comment. We see the comments. I
I
might
do
start
read.
actually replying to them. I read everyone. We're not so popular yet that we're getting a whole fucking ton, but we read them. So drop any suggestions if you want to see some sweet content.
hmm
Let us know if you got any topics for next time. Go ahead
Yeah.
and drop them, and we'll chat them up.
One thing I do need to
Um,
say.
yep, go ahead.
We are getting occasionally links posted on the comments, random links from like accounts with like 3-letter names, and it's like a spur of letters and a link. Do not click on those. I can delete them, but they eventually, on videos we don't look at in a while, they'll start putting them out. Do not click those. They are probably going to take you to a place to get a virus. Don't fuck with it. It's a huge issue with YouTube right now. I'll delete them when I see them. Do not click on them. We will not post links in there either. Any links we post will be in the description.
Yep.
So don't click any comment links. But
yep.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for interacting. And I hope you have a grand old day.
Yep. Love you. See you later.